What's up? Coach Snacks here. Today we're going to talk about the core, or as most people would refer to it, the abdominals. We're going to talk about what to avoid when you're doing some abdominal training, and we're going to go over some common exercises in the supine position, which is with your back located on the floor. The exercises we're going to look at today are the reverse crunch, the dead bug, and the hollow body position. So let's look at some of those positions. Looking at the abdomen, we want to look at what the abs job is. So our abs job is to resist movement and to help stabilize our body. So along our abdomen, along with our glutes, help to bring our body into proper alignment. If I was to sag in the abdomen and sag in the glutes, notice that I start to blow out in the front and the back. When I tighten up, I bring myself together. So strength in the stomach allows us support, which then gives us the freedom to move off of that support wherever we may want to go. When it's important when you're training these to think about that as opposed to think about something like a crunch. A crunch is the creating the movement with the abs. We don't so much want to do that. A lot of bending at the spine can be detrimental, but training the abs to resist movement elsewhere in the body just builds strength and a platform in order for us to get stronger. Looking at what we want to avoid when we're doing some of our abdomen training, let's go ahead and get into our supine position, or just on our backs. From here, let's look at two things. We want to acknowledge that our lower back has a slight normal curve. However, when we pull our knees to our chest, we should have the ability to flatten our lower back out onto the ground. So this position may be difficult for some, and if so, you should probably be practicing this. We want to avoid a hard arch in the lower back. So if you feel your lower back starting to creep up, we want to press that down with our stomach or with your abs. Another thing to consider is, so I lift my hands. If my rib cage is flared up, we want to pull that down with our stomach. So in this position, notice I have a hard arch and my rib cage is flared up. I can pull that down and flatten my lower back into the ground, which is going to free up a lot of motion when we look at that later in our exercises. Looking at our things to avoid from the side, we can see that if you were to get into this arched, rib flared position, we start to lose a long, strong position and torso. So here, notice that when I have my hard arch in rib flare, it's an action to pull the abdominals down and towards your stomach, which allows us to keep that hard, strong position. The problem that we're getting into when we look at having that hard arch is that we are effectively shutting down some of the use of our abdominals. So, for example, if we're going to look at our arms, when I contract a muscle, muscles work in tandem, so the opposite is going to relax. Notice how when I contract my bicep, my tricep relaxes. When I contract my tricep, my bicep relaxes. So it works the same in our body. If I am hard and contracted in the back, I'm not going to have as efficient and strong use coming from my core that I could have if I were to practice this long, strong position. That can also come into play if you're looking to see better aesthetic development in your core training. So if you're never even using your core muscles, how can you develop them? So I'm not saying that you can spot reduce and reduce fat on your stomach with these type of exercises. However, I am saying that you will better develop your abdomen. So if your body fat levels are low enough, you will start to see better development. Let's look at what these demonstrations have and how they relate to some of the things that we've been talking about. First, looking at the reverse crunch, let's get on our back. We're going to pull our knees to our chest. Hands just fall into our side. And we're going to work we can start this exercise off by just going to the top. We should be able to extend out and pull in without our lower back leaving the ground. So the way to make this harder is to start to lower the level at which you extend your leg. Things to consider are the same things we've been talking about in this video. So while I do this, I want to avoid arching off the ground. We want to maintain that position, extend, and return. Another thing to consider when doing this is your breath. So if I'm going to match my breath here, I want to exhale as I extend, inhale as I pull in. Looking at a dead bug, we're going to get into our same position. Back on the ground, find knees to chest. And we're going to look at two different versions today. We can either keep our legs in more of a 90 to 90 degree angles. We call this the bent leg version. Or we want to keep our legs perpendicular, so we can call this the straight leg version. Looking at our dead bug, we can start by moving one limb at a time. So from here, that would look like things to avoid are going to be some of the same things that we've been looking at. So notice that my lower back is pressed in. I'm not arched up. My ribs are pulled down. I'm not flared up at the chest. Everything is pulled down. So we make this exercise harder by moving things on the opposite side of our body. Or same side. Or we can look at our straight leg version. Same things apply. Notice how when I go down, I am exhaling. Inhale on the way up. Exhale. My lower back does not leave the ground whatsoever. My ribs do not flare up. My stomach is pressed down the whole time. So that's how to make this exercise harder. Some of you may find yourself in more of a regress version where we are simply maintaining a hold here, or our bent leg version here. That's okay. You will see rapid increases in strength in these positions. Now let's look at the hollow hold. We're going to lay all the way back down on our backs. We're going to extend out at the feet and the arms. I'm going to go ahead and be mindful of my lower back and my stomach and press down with my stomach. Make sure that my ribs are not flared, pulled down, and we are going to allow ourselves to lift up and relax. So just to show that again, my lower back is not raised up off the floor. I'm pressed down into it. I'm extended up. I'm extended through the feet. And relax. This may at first be too challenging. So how I like to regress this is start here. Just like our reverse crunch, we're going to knees to chest. And instead of crunching in and out, we can work a hold. So you would want to get in this position, extend up and find where your lower back can stay down. You may find that it's here, here, or that you can go all the way down. However, doing holds At a higher level, eventually we will be able to work our way down and eventually be able to extend our arms above our head. Working this position allows us to hollow out in the front and stay contracted and held together using our abdomen. So today we looked at what the abs do and their main function, which is just to resist movement and provide a place of firm foundation to move your body outside of. We looked at what to avoid with some of the common ground-based ab exercises, looking at the hard arch in the back and allowing our ribs to flare. The exercises we covered today were the reverse crunch, dead bug, and hollow body position. Ultimately, these are really good exercises, and this is a really good position to master. If you happen to get in this position and you struggle mightily, that's okay. You may find yourself shaking a lot at first. That just means you need to practice it. So, perfect practice makes perfect. Get into some of these exercises, try some of these, and see what you think. Thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe to our channel. Find us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you haven't got the chance to check out our website, csworkout.com, come check us out for a personal touch on online training.